What's up, Extreme Kids of Ottawa and around the world? This is First Lady Kay, and I want to welcome you to your midweek story time, where we are reading my first message Bible, a devotional Bible for kids by Eugene Peterson, for ages 4 to 8. Extreme Kids, I want to take this time to thank you for sending me all your challenges in the mail. It was such a pleasure to send you your gifts. Remember to continue to do your challenges and send your answers to ottawachurchkids@gmail.com for your special prize in the mail. This week we're going to be reading 1 Samuel chapter 17, David and Goliath. So let's get started. King Saul and the Israelites spread out their troops ready for battle against the Philistines. The Philistines were on one hill, the Israelites on the opposing hill with the valley between them. A giant nearly 10 feet tall stepped out from the Philistine line into the open. Goliath from Gath. He had a bronze helmet on his head and was dressed in armor. 126 pounds of it. Whoa! He wore bronze shin guards and carried a bronze sword. His spear was like a fence rail. The spear tip alone weighed over 15 pounds. Ugh! Goliath stood there and called out to the Israelite troops. "Why bother using your whole army? Pick your best fighter and pit him against me. If he gets the upper hand and kills me, the Philistines will all become your slaves. But if I get the upper hand and kill him, you'll all become our slaves and serve us. I challenge the troops of Israel this day. Give me a man. Let us fight it out together." Well, when Saul and his troops heard the Philistines' challenge, they were terrified and lost all hope. Oh, Extreme Kids, what will happen? Here's your first challenge. How much taller than you do you think Goliath was? That's a great question. I think you're going to have to measure yourself to figure that out. Let's continue our story. Now David was the youngest son of Jesse from Bethlehem in Judah. While his 3 older brothers went to war with Saul, David went back and forth from attending to Saul to tending his father's sheep in Bethlehem. Bah! One day, Jesse told David his son, "Check in on your brothers to see whether they are getting along all right, and let me know how they're doing." David arrived at the camp just as the army was moving into battle formation, shouting the war cry, "Ah!" The Philistines' champion Goliath of Gath stepped out from the front lines of the Philistines and gave his usual challenge. David heard him. "Master," said David to King Saul, "don't give up hope. I'm ready to go fight this Philistine." Saul answered David, "You can't go and fight this Philistine. You're too young and inexperienced." David said, "I've been a shepherd, tending sheep for my father. Whenever a lion or a bear came and took a lamb from the flock, I'd go after it, knock it down, and rescue the lamb. And I do the same for this Philistine pig who's taunting the troops of God, alive. God, who delivered me from the teeth of the lion and the claws of the bear, will deliver me from this Philistine." Well, Saul said, "Go, and God help you." Oh, wasn't he so brave, David? Here's our next challenge, Extreme Kids. Why wasn't David afraid of the giant? Would you be afraid, Extreme Kids, of the giant? Let's continue our story. Then Saul outfitted David as a soldier in armor. He put his bronze helmet on his head and belted his sword on him over the armor. David tried to walk, but he could hardly budge. David told Saul, "I can't even move with all this stuff. I'm not used to this." And he took it all off. Then David took his shepherd's staff, selected 5 smooth stones from the brook. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job, Extreme Kids. And he put them in the pocket of his shepherd's pack, and with his sling in his hand, approached Goliath. Come on, said the Philistine. I'll make roadkill of you for the buzzards. I'll turn you into nasty morsel for the field mouse. Oh no! What is going to happen, Extreme Kids? Was David too brave, do you think? Here's our next challenge. David didn't want to use armor to protect himself. What did David think would protect him? David answered, You come at me with sword and spear and battle axe. I come at you in the name of God of the angel armies, the God of Israel's troops, whom you curse and mock. This very day, God is handing you over to me. The whole earth will know that there's an extraordinary God in Israel, and everyone gathered here will learn that God doesn't save by means of sword or spear. The battle belongs to God. He's handing you to us on a platter. That angered the Philistine, and he started towards David. David took off from the front line, running towards the Philistine. David reached into his pocket for a stone, slung it, and hit the Philistine hard in the forehead, embedding the stone deeply. The Philistine crashed face down in the dirt. Thump! Then David ran up to the Philistine and stood over him, pulled the giant's sword from its sheath. Then when the Philistines saw that their great champion was dead, they scattered, running for their lives. Yay! David did it. Way to go, David. Here's our prayer challenge for this week, Extreme Kids. Let's tell God about some of the things that we're afraid of. Ask God to be with us whenever we are afraid. Ask Him to give us courage to be brave and to stand up for what is right. I'm so excited to hear and see your prayers, Extreme Kids. Here is our Living Out the Word challenge for this week. Let us act out the story using scrunched up paper or a foam ball as stones. Let us take turns acting out each part. Talk about heroes to our mom and dad. What is a hero? Can you name any heroes? Wow, these are great questions. I can't wait to see you act out these stories and tell me all about the heroes that you know and what you know about heroes. You also can memorize Philippians chapter 4, verse 6. Instead of worrying, pray. Oh, what a good verse for us to remember to pray, pray, and pray. I can't wait to hear from you, Extreme Kids. Remember to email us all of your challenge answers at ottawachurchkids@gmail.com so I can send you your special prize in the mail. This is First Lady Kay signing off, saying remember to dream extreme.